One of my favorite things in Excel is the ability to explore how things are related. Like if we look at even the games, for example, if I have a higher scoring game, are they generally when there's a bigger audience or a smaller audience? And if I look at the players, are taller players generally heavier or not? To explore that, we can use a scatter graph. I'll just tidy this up because I want that to look. There we go, that's a bit nicer. A scatter graph is used, or a scatter plot is used when you have two columns and they're both numbers, or two variables they're called, and they're both numbers, like height and weight. To graph these things, to see if height and weight are related, to make a scatter plot, I would recommend click on the first column, so click on the letter of the column, and then hold Control and click on the second column. Now, both columns are selected. Control is used when you want to select many columns, even if they're not together. So I'll do that again. Click on column C, hold Control, click on column D. Now, we want to see if tall players are generally heavier. So let's plot a graph against these things. We can go Insert, and then we can do this scatter plot graph, XY graph or a scatter, and just do it with the dots. Not a bubble one, just a scatter plot. And we can see if tall players are generally heavier. It would be nice to have better labels here so we can see which is which. If I look at, which one is which? Maybe a good way of doing it is if I click on one of these. Is this the height or the weight? You know what? I think this one down here must be the height, because a footy player would probably generally be 160 to 210 centimetres. So let's label this one so we know that this one is the height. To do that, we can add an axis title on the bottom, a horizontal axis. And let's call this one player height, and that is in centimetres. And this one here, we can add a chart element, another axis title, vertical. This one is player weight in kilograms. Good. Okay, we'll give this a title, player height and weight. Good, that will do. To see if these are related, to make it a little bit easier, you can already tell as this thing goes up, this one also generally tends to go up. They look like a straight line. They're clustered around a straight line. I'll show you one where they're not related a little bit later. To make it even easier to see, we can change this axis. We can right-click on it and go Format Axis. Yeah, that's the one. Just scroll over. And this player height, to make it easier to see, I will graph it from 150 to 250. So the minimum will be 150 and the maximum, actually, you know what? That'll do. That looks good. And the vertical axis here, it looks like it doesn't really go below 60 kilos. So from 60 to 120. So this vertical one, I can click on this axis here. Not the title, but the numbers. You might need to click on this button here and go Axis Options. And this one, I'll go from 60 to 120. There you go. So we can see, sure enough, tall players are generally heavier and short players are generally lighter. That makes sense. We say that these are correlated. As one goes up, the other goes up. They are correlated. But what does it look like when they're not correlated? I wonder if rainfall affects attendance. Let's go to the games sheet and graph rainfall and attendance. I'll put rainfall on the bottom, so I'll click on that one first. and then hold Control and click on Attendance, which will be vertical. Now I can go Insert and make a scatter plot. It doesn't look like there's much of a correlation, does there? A correlation normally looks like a nice straight line. I'll show you what I mean. Correlation examples. There we go. So this here, this one, they're not really correlated. But this one here, they're really, really strongly correlated. And in the real world, even something like this, you know, as this thing goes up, that also goes up, are also correlated. If it looks like they're just completely random, like, where's a good example? There we go, like this, just completely random. They're not related at all, and they're not correlated. So let's go back. This here, I don't think that there looks like there's much of a relationship. It doesn't look like oh, I swapped them around. Attendance ended up here. It doesn't look like higher attendance means higher rainfall. Good. So that is how you can make a scatter plot in Excel. Yeah, you should be good to do the challenge for that one. Good luck.